Hello, this is Franco Cabral broadcasting from the Honest Liar podcast, a conversation around finding the inner liar within all of us and leveraging the truth to create expansion across all areas of your life. Today's topic is Morning Shit Show. Awesome title. I was thinking about this and I couldn't describe better what inspired thought for this podcast. It was a morning that was an utter shit show that I had just a few days ago. And it started with the fact that I was taking my kids to school and to the sitter. Actually, no sitter for my son. Sitter had called out and he was going to be spending the day with me at work. And on the way to getting out of the house, it was one thing after another that was colliding with me. I ended up sharing this in a message with my wife because my wife does morning drop-off most of the time, and I was just expressing my frustration and also my gratitude at the same time for where she was and the fact that she had to deal with this kind of stuff on a regular basis. So just to describe a little bit about what my morning was like, first, I'm about to get in the car, and as I'm about to leave, we're already running late, behind schedule. I had a conference call that I need to be on while I was driving. My daughter says to me that she has to do pee-pee. And I asked her before we left, but of course she waited till we were buckled in, ready to go, and now she has to go to the bathroom, and we have a long drive, so I have to get out of the car. I bring her out of the car, I bring her inside, take her to go do pee-pee. Then I realized, my son probably has to do pee-pee, so I went to go get him. Then we're about to leave, my son does pee-pee, and as we're leaving, he says that he has to go cocky, he has to go poo. So back to the bathroom we go, and I'm getting more and more frustrated as every moment goes by because I have a lot of shit to do and I'm running late. So my son then does a little bit of poopy in his underwear, and now I have to go upstairs and change his clothes. I asked my daughter, who's 4 by the way, to grab a change of clothes for him because I was flustered. Obviously, she wasn't going to be able to do that because it's really high, and I was forgetting that the cabinets were not somewhere that she could reach. So I was asking her to do basically something that was impossible. Then I got frustrated with her because she did that. Then I am finally, all of this is through. I realize, as we're about to pull off, that I left my son's water bottle and something for my daughter. So I had to go back inside. Realized then that my daughter left the lights on upstairs. She left the gate open, which could allow our dogs to get upstairs, and that could be a problem. So I had to run upstairs. I was upset at her for not locking the gate, for leaving the light on. Finally, I get in the car, and now my son is screaming and yelling at the top of his lungs, as a 2-year-old does, because he wanted some toy or something we didn't have. And finally, I kind of lost my shit, and I was just like, Daddy needs a break. So everybody quiet, and Daddy's going to take a break. And I literally put some meditation music on, and I just started to breathe. And I was in breakdown mode, and I was really having a hard time with the way the morning was going. And then I started to think about this. As I do every morning, I reflect. I have these processes that I do to find reflection within trigger moments like this. And I realized that I was in total and utter chaos before we even got in the car. My mindset wasn't on right. My morning routine was not in power. This is something I talked about in other podcasts. The Daily Game in particular is one that describes my morning routine. And I realized that I have been completely off my game with my morning routine for the last few weeks. And it just came to an absolute pivotal breaking point this morning, and my kids completely collapsed my already weak frame. Then I started to wonder, well, why? I'm somebody who talks about this. I've been following a routine for 2 years. What the hell is going on? Why am I off my game? Why am I slacking? And part of this podcast I'm actually recording today is for me to get clearer on this process because I'm still not completely in power with my morning routine, despite the fact that I had been following a very set ritual and routine for the last 2 years that hasn't changed too much. So why, all of a sudden, am I struggling getting this routine in order, something I've been doing for so long? I started to think about this more, and through a process that I go through called the Spark, I found some revelation in going through this process that the reality is I just created new targets for quarter 4. I'm chasing some new things in my life, some new impossible games within my body, within my family, with my business, with my faith, and also something called fun that I'm also created a new category for. And it's going to be requiring me to level up. What I didn't anticipate was that my routines were also going to level up. So I started trying to figure out my normal routines, but I've been feeling this drift in transitioning from what I did last quarter to this quarter, and not really recognizing that it's my daily game that's ultimately going to accomplish what it is that I said I wanted to accomplish in quarter 4. So the power of my routines, I just got another reality check. I got a check in that my routines daily, again, are what create all of the things that I've created in my life already and all of the future things that I want to create in my life as well. So when I decide I want to create new shit in my life, it requires me to change my frame and my routine to serve me new things. And ultimately, the quality of my routines are going to determine the quality of my life. I can't expect that my old routines will create the new outcomes that I desire. So there's certain things, for instance, I've been going live for a while on social media, and it's something that I used to do at night. And I've been really frustrated and leaking power because I made a commitment to myself and to my followers that I was going to post on a daily basis. And there's been multiple other commitments that recently, over the last few weeks, I haven't been finding the time for. And all of those little commitments that I don't keep to myself leak power. And without that power that I'm seeking, I'm not actually able to create what it is that I desire next. But I've been so focused on how do I create the next outcomes that I neglected the very power of what I do daily and how that creates the shifts that ultimately I'm looking for in my life. So with that said, I'm going to be revisiting all of my routines. One of them was my daily video that I did every night. It no longer serves me, and that's okay. And part of recognizing that you want to create new shit, you need to change your routines, is also being willing to say, hey, something I said I was going to do prior is no longer working for me for the person that I desire to become. So one of my outcomes in my balance this upcoming quarter is that I am going to create a new nighttime routine that prioritizes my family above everything else. So I started working on this, but I didn't actually think, well, what are the things that are going to change that I also want to still do? One of these is the nighttime video that I used to post every night. So I can no longer create the space to do that at night and also keep my commitment to myself that I want to create this new nighttime routine. However, posting live is something that still brings me power. And when I don't keep my commitment to myself, it's difficult to keep my new commitments that I'm trying to create. So readjusting my routine by making sure that on a daily basis, I'm doing my lives in the morning and spreading whatever insights I'm getting from the day before keeps me in power with my commitment of daily lives. And it also starts to build some momentum so I can create my new habits and routine that ultimately are going to get me what I want in quarter 4. So that's the lesson that I learned from my morning shit show and why this was actually happening. My ask from you guys is to consider, are your current morning routines serving you? And taking a 20 to 30 minute period of thinking time for yourself and just write down what is it that you do consistently on a daily basis, starting from the morning routine all the way throughout the course of the day and your nighttime routine. What are the things you do consistently every day? And once you write down all of those little routines, then next to it, write working or not working. And I'd have you consider just making slight changes in your routine for the things that are not working and shifting them to something that could be working will drastically improve your life. So, as always, thank you so much for tuning in to the Honest Liar podcast, a conversation around finding the inner liar within all of us and leveraging the truth to create expansion across all areas of your life. If you found value in this show, please share. Also, rate and review the show. It helps significantly for improving the rankings and spreading light. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.